Hey there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist here on a rainy Wednesday here in Southern California. And cold too for Southern California. I know a lot of you guys live in areas with much worse weather, and we're pretty spoiled here, but for here, very cold and very wet. For other places, this would have been a gorgeous day. Anyway, so today, Mr. Rafa worked on the blue buggy and wired in the complete instrument cluster and the turn signal switch. So the wiring on this car is pretty much done. So once he got the dash and the actual dash itself and the windshield and the hood and all that stuff installed, then the next step was the wiring. So much easier on this one than this one. I mentioned it yesterday. This dash is hinged on the bottom. You see the hinge back there. And so this whole thing flops down. You connect all the wires with it, flop down, and then you flop it back up, couple screws, boom, done. So much easier than laying on your back wiring from, up underneath here on this case. But, again, totally different look, more kind of modern-y looking, more retro-y looking, both cool in their own way. But so the wiring on here is done, except for, needless to say, we'll have to connect the motor, but this is easy by comparison, just, handful of wires here. And, actually, one more thing to wire, and that is the tachometer, which you see there. It's got like a cool moon tachometer that's going to mount on his steering column. It comes with a mount to mount there, so we will install that. The yellow wire hanging out right there is the tach wire that goes back to that'll go back to the negative side of the coil. And so I need to get a hold of this owner and go ahead and have him bring in his seats, because we need to mount the back seats before the motor goes in, because it'll be much easier to put any holes and access what we need to back in here to mount the seat, and same for like underneath there before the motor's in. So so he has complete upholstery for this car already done. So pretty much seats will go in next, or soon at least, on this buggy as far as the next thing for it. And then after that, pretty much his motor, I think, would be about next. So this one's come along really fast. This one, I need to harass my upholstery guy, and I need to still buy the vinyl. I need him to tell me how much of it to buy, and then I need to get it and get him cracking on getting this upholstery done. Because this one's just kind of sitting here feeling kind of lonely and neglected right now, because really the next step on this one is to upholster the seats. So this one's been sitting kind of idle while we wait on that. So I do need to heckle my upholstery guy a little bit more here to light a fire under him for this one. But then, this one is moving right along here. Let's see, what else? So, Rafa spent just about all day on that. In fact, he stayed late because he was, had some momentum, and he just wanted to finish that. So, that's all done. Another very small thing is we're all square with this customer here, and so gave this car a little bit of attention. And when I say a little, I mean a little. We just put on the license plate mount, was not on there before, so installed that, and then his frame and his plate and everything looks pretty bitchin'. I don't know what 957 means. This bus is a 59, so who knows? But anyway, that's his license plate. So as for me, I worked on this beauty here, killer hot rod, fully loaded bus here with its bitchin' air conditioning system and stuff. So I pretty much spent all day in the cab of this bus working on the AC system, and talking about it, it doesn't sound like a lot of work, but I literally spent all day in here installing the sort of in-cab part of the air conditioning system. So pretty much the process is, I think yesterday I mentioned that I started by modifying these sort of Y-shaped ventilation pipes. So the two on the ends of the dash now are tied into the air conditioning. So I kind of started that process yesterday, finished that today, and then basically without the glove box in, what you do is you pretty much figure out where you want to mount the evaporator and get it all kind of mocked up in there, and the brackets take a little bending and stuff to get them to fit against the body where they need to, and so on. So pretty much get this thing all figured out and actually go as far as to install it and drill holes and stuff like that. And then it comes back out, and then after that what you have to do is then you route the hoses. So there's a long hose that goes from where's my finger, from that outlet all the way kind of up over the radio and stuff, and that goes into the top left of this thing back in here, and then the one from this one goes to the top right of it. So you kind of like run those hoses back in there with this off after, again, you got all the holes mounted and stuff. And then you put the glove box, the actual box of the glove box, back in, because once this thing is mounted in here, there's no accessing the screw that goes to the strap that holds the glove box in. So once you get the glove box back mounted in, then you go ahead and you connect the hoses to this thing with it kind of, I was like literally like supporting it on my feet down here while I was connecting the hoses to the top of it. And then once those are in, which are actually pretty hard to shove on there, but once they're on, they're not going anywhere. Once you get the two top hoses connected in there, then you can go ahead and get this thing mounted up in there. And then from there, there's side hoses. So there's one here you can't see, one here you can't see. So then those run to these two vents here. So yeah, mounting these vents up in there and connecting them to the hoses, and what else? Then the other thing is the little control unit itself. Let me go around the other side here. So the little control unit itself is mounted here. And again, I like the way it looks. Looks kind of appropriate on this bus, I think, as far as, looking like something that could have been from the late 60s or so. But yeah, that's mounted, not wired yet, obviously, but pretty easy wiring. I think it goes to the fuse box, and then I believe this part of the harness here goes over to the unit over there. And yeah, so kind of a big job, because it's the whole like measure twice, drill once kind of thing, mounting all this stuff and figuring out the right position and so on. But yeah, it's a really nice system. I know I keep kind of going on this system, but to me this looks like this could have been a system that would have been installed from the factory on a 68 bus. So you got your two outlets here that have these nice sort of ball deals where you can shut the vent off like that, or open it up and kind of point it in different directions. So really nice. And then again, these will have the regular bay window things on where you can tilt them and stuff like that. So yeah, most of the day installing all this stuff, but the in-cab part is pretty much done now, with the exception of wiring it and then connecting the hoses to it. So neither of those is too big of a deal time-wise. So yeah, in-cab part practically done. I'd say the hardest parts are done for sure. And then I kind of started on these massive hoses. So you can see the two hoses here, here and here, that run to the compressor, and you can see where I've got them going through the firewall there. I know that I said that I thought I had put the motor in as far as like mocking it up the last time. I think this was this week, but I think I'm gonna have to take this thing and stick it in here for mock-up purposes one more time, just to figure out the routing of those two air conditioning hoses to the actual compressor. And I think they're going to basically like kind of go up over this way and then around the carburetor and then back through the firewall there. I was kind of hoping to route them this way so it would be kind of more clean, but those hoses, especially the huge one, I don't think it'll make bends tight enough to go that way. So I think they're going to kind of have to come this way with a gentle bend and then ultimately toward the firewall like that. So we'll see. But yeah, I think I want to mock that up and figure out how much of those, the length of those, need to be here in the engine compartment, and then hook them up on their other ends to where they go. So you can kind of see that big fat one there like dangling down. So that one actually is going to go up through the floor of the car to the evaporator. And then the smaller one, which is where? There's a smaller one here, which goes to the condenser. And then from the condenser, you go to the dryer, which is that kind of can-shaped deal. That's going to mount up underneath here somewhere. And then from that thing, then it goes to the in-dash unit, the evaporator. So yeah, some plumbing to do still, and then basically the wiring. So hopefully by the end of tomorrow, I think since I've got some momentum on this, I think I want to keep working on the AC system for this. I'm hoping by the end of tomorrow, I can have it mostly done as far as like wired and plumbed and stuff. You know, it'll still need to be connected to the motor when the motor goes in for good. But as far as having everything squared away, that way, then hoping to be there by the end of tomorrow. We'll see. I don't know. I may decide to work on something else. But so other than that, went ahead and had Mr. Jacob do a couple things today. One is we drained the oil from this car. So those of you that follow the channel may remember I went ahead and did the cam break-in on this car. Maybe last week. I don't know. It all kind of runs together. Anyway, the cam break-in on this motor was done. So we went ahead and drained the oil, and then we'll put it all back together. There's the drain plate and a new gasket kit and stuff. Go ahead and put it back together. So had Jacob drain that oil and do that, and then had him go ahead and pull the carburetor for the blue buggy motor because it's been sitting and I'm sure had gas evaporated and gunked up in it. So we'll go through that carburetor and get it all freshened up so that when this motor does go in, then it should run bitchin'. And that's basically it for today, guys. So thank you for watching, I guess. And we will see you all again tomorrow. Bye.